Hi folks, welcome to another edition of Jstfish Outdoors. I'm your host Dale York, and on this week's show we've got Skiatook, we've got Lake Fork, and of course we've got some additional fishing reports from both Steve Carroll and Dave Clark. So stick around, it's going to be a good show with some up-to-date information, what's going on around our area lakes. First up is going to be Steve Carroll of Weekend Duty Guide Service and his weekly report.
Yeah, good morning. Steve Carroll with Weekend Duty Guide Service. It's April the 3rd. It's time for the weekly Weekend Duty Fishing Report for Northeast Oklahoma. Kind of a rainy Monday morning, so we're getting ready to go catch bait this morning for the rest of the week. Wanted to talk a little bit about where we've been getting shad and where we've been hearing that shad's plentiful and not plentiful. I've been catching shad up on Keystone Lake, launching up at the new Manford ramp and looking around up there in that area and finding good numbers of what I call Skiatook size shad, the nice 3 to 4 inch gizzards. Got a good numbers of thread fins mixed in with those, so it's a real good bait for hybrid fishing. Also got a report this week about good numbers of shad down at Three Forks Harbor down in Muskogee. Good numbers of shad down there in that area, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Had some good reports from the Arkansas River and the Grand River below Fort Gibson. But let's start off with Skiatook Lake this week. Skiatook's been either real good or a little bit tough. It's still hard to put 2 days of fishing in a row, 2 good days in a row up on Skiatook. The wind is changing direction every day, making fishing conditions up there for hybrids pretty difficult. But on the good days, we're getting nice numbers of fish. Did have a trip up there last week with some real nice smallmouth bass. Smallmouth bass were eating live shad presented to them on a free line on windy and rocky banks where they were getting ready to spawn. So Skiatook's looking up, water temp's about 55 degrees, and it's time to get up there and do some hybrid fishing. Got a report from some guys fishing over on Grand last week. The crappie are moving up. Good numbers of real nice sized crappie being caught up on Grand off the docks in 6 to 8 feet of water. So with the water warming up, the fish are going to be on the bank probably this week sometime. Over on Keystone, Keystone's up some. They've had quite a bit of water coming down river from Caw. The sand bass bite over on Keystone is real good. Blue cat continues to be red hot over on Keystone, and it's still tough to put together anything up there on striped bass because the water's so muddy and the lake's coming up the way it is. So move over to Oologah. Been getting good reports over on Oologah for a blue cat. Blue cat being caught on cut shad up there. Big numbers of blue cat and good sized catfish as well. Also in the coves up there in mid-lake on Oologah, the crappie are again moving up on the banks. They're out in about 6 or 8 feet of water, but the crappie bite continues to improve over on Oologah. Down on Fort Gibson, the upper end of the lake, of course, is tremendous sand bass run up there right now. A lot of guys are catching a lot of sand bass on live shad. Also, the spoonbill are up there from the low water dam down to Maisie. You just got to get out there and do it, but chances of snagging a big spoonbill down there are extremely good. Got some reports from the Arkansas River last week. Had a couple of bass tournaments over there this weekend. Fishing was kind of tough. A lot of water coming down the ditch there from Oologah and the creeks that run into the nav channel upstream from Muskogee. So there was a lot of debris in the water. The fishing conditions were pretty tough, but there were some nice fish caught. Also got a good report up the Neosho River from Three Forks Harbor, run up the Arkansas River to the Neosho and run up there, and sand bass were hitting well on those ripples up there below Fort Gibson Dam. So that's happening up there as well. It's a real nice place to launch. Also, we spoke about it a little bit earlier, shad are very plentiful down there in Three Forks Harbor. If you want to go get shad right there and then run up the river to sand bass fish, you'll see a lot less boats up there than you will down in Shodo Bend and Maisie Landing. So good conditions down there for sand bass. All right, so that's kind of wrap it up for this week's report. I also like to remind you guys that, of course, I'm on the Lowrance Pro staff. If you have any questions about your Lowrance equipment, if you need any help setting it up, need software updates, or you'd like to book a trip for some on-the-water instruction, I'm always available for that. We can work that into the schedule pretty easy this time of year. So give me a shout if you're interested in a hybrid trip up on Skiatook. The bite's really going pretty good right now. You can reach me at 918-706-5824. I have a contact form on my website at weekendduty.com, and the easiest place to catch me and contact me is probably message me off the Weekend Duty Facebook page. Be putting pictures, videos, and daily fishing reports on Facebook as well. So give me a call. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the report, Steve. Next up is going to be Dave Clark from Fish On Guide Service, and he's going to provide us his weekly report.
Hello, this is David Clark giving you my weekly report for Del York's Jstfish web broadcast. This past week has just been really good fishing over on Fort Gibson. The sand bass, we've caught some really nice sand bass up to 3 pounds, good numbers of sand bass. And you just got to look for them. If they're running water, they're a little bit harder to find. We found them in the eddies or maybe pushed along over to the sides and stuff. If they're not running water, they're a lot easier to find. We just this last couple trips we had over there is just awesome. One trip I did a combo trip. We caught some spoonbill by power trolling and jerking, and then we went and caught some real nice sand bass. And in the afternoon trip, all we did was sand bass. We caught several up to 3 pounds, and they were just coming through in big old schools. Good news is that the shad are starting to come back into Maisie Landing there. It's kind of 50-50 as to the size. Some of them are 6, 7, 8 inches, but some of them are good sand bass size, and they're good enough to use it for over there. Real good baits. And the other good news is that they're coming back into the port at Rogers Point boat ramp down there. The water's back up. They're holding it back somewhere. The river is running a little bit, but the bait's in the cove. And there's good baits in there, either small or large. A lot of threadfin this year for some reason, maybe because we didn't have a very hard winter. But the bait situation is really improving. This next week I'm going to be down on Lake Washita. I got a couple trips down there with some longtime clients, and I'm staying there on vacation. In the meantime, Larry Wine, Hook, Line, and Sinker, and Steve King of Hawker's Guide Service will be taking out a couple trips for me since I won't be around. When we get back, we'll start concentrating up on Skiatook. Anyway, that's a report from Fish On Guide Service. You can contact me, Fish On Guide Service Facebook page or fishonok.com, or you can call me at 918-724-6786.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Next up is going to be the third part of our 3-part series on our recent trip down to Lake Fork. And after that, we'll come back and start talking about some local conditions and also see some footage that I shot recently on Skiatook. So hang in there. We'll be right back. Hi, folks. Dale York and Randy Claiborne. We're still at Lake Fork. It's part 2 the same night, and we're still murdering the fish. you know, we're just having a great time down here, just laughing and giggling and just tearing the fish up.
Yep.
What are we doing, Randy?
Man, I'll tell you what, we can't go wrong tonight. These fish are hot. They are aggressive, and wow, water temperature's about 62, and we're really starting to catch some more fish, and they're getting better.
Yeah, you know, we alluded to that a little bit if you watched last night's video. You know, we talked about how close we were of having these fish just really turn on like crazy down here.
Yep.
And tonight, you know, we've got, I think, a little front moving in. Wind's supposed to change, or rain coming up, or whatever. And these fish have just gone on a feeding frenzy. And oh my gosh, you know, we're not getting jig bites, we're getting assaulted. So we've got a couple more in the live well here, and we'll pull them out and show you a couple more fish what we're doing tonight. Another couple of healthy fish. Both of those fish will be in excess of 6 pounds. The one Randy's holding is probably 8, close to it. And you know, like I said, you know, they're just going crazy tonight, biting. So we're going to get back on the water and make the most of tonight by catching some more of these. But once again, folks, you know, if you get the opportunity to come to Lake Fork in the near future, you need to do that because these fish are hot right now. Once again, Randy Claiborne, Lake Fork, Texas Spots. You know, that's his website. Dale York, Jstfish Outdoors. We hope you get down here to Lake Fork in the not too distant future and take advantage of some of this hot fishing because, you know, the next week or 2 or 3 is just going to be awesome. So this is Dale York and Randy Claiborne for Lake Fork, Texas Spots and Jstfish Outdoors saying, we'll catch you later. Friday, I had the chance to get over on Skiatook in the afternoon. I had a couple hours that I could be on the water, and I put in over at Black Dog, fished around the Black Dog area a little bit. One thing I will point out, it does appear that the lake on the north end of Highway 20 Bridge is a little more stained than the water on the south end of 20 Bridge. I did notice some logs and some trash floating around in the water, so those of you getting on the water this weekend, be careful of that. Kind of pay attention. And one of the things I was targeting is smallmouth, these pre-spawn smallmouths, and was somewhat successful. We'll show you a little video of it here. And you know, after that, we'll come back and talk about current conditions and what you may expect in the next week or so. Sand bass. Hey, careful. this is. Nice smallie. Full of eggs. Get us another one. Another decent smallie. While I was doing the smallmouth fishing on Skiatook, I was throwing that 4.5 inch sassy Sally that's made by Bass Pro in pearl color with silver metal flake. It's a dynamite color to throw on Skiatook this time of year, and I catch a lot of fish on the 4.5 inch size. Just rigging it with a 3/8 ounce weedless head, and just slow rolling that across the areas I was fishing, across points, across the little secondary points and some of the pockets, and it was pretty productive. So anyway, if you get the opportunity, get out there on Skiatook, try this method. You'll catch some fish, I guarantee. And you know, if we can just get a break in the wind, I'll be back out there myself. Well, after the rain and the cold front we've had this week, along with the winds this weekend, oh my goodness, the winds have just been howling this weekend. It's supposed to be pretty warm next week, I think. I do expect conditions to continue to improve. You know, if you get the opportunity to get out there, you know, I'm still getting good reports on crappie fishing. I'm still getting good reports on sand bass. I'm still getting some good reports on largemouth. You know, the catches, I've seen some really good fish come from Keystone, from Oolaga, from Gibson. So, you know, the fishing is just continuing to heat up, which it will for the next several weeks. If you get the opportunity, you know, get out there. Your efforts will be rewarded because the fishing is just going to get better and better. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to drop me a line. Jstfish Outdoors at jstfish.com, or you can reach me on my Facebook page, Jstfish Outdoors. That's with the JST folks, and we'll be sure to try to answer whatever questions you have. If you have a specific subject that you'd like to see a video on, feel free to drop us a line as well, and we'll try to put something together for you. But, you know, like I said, if you get the opportunity, get out there, and as always, take a kid fishing. This is Dale York for Jstfish Outdoors saying, we'll catch you later.